Hi guys, Stephanie here from Hickory Croft Farm, and we're out in the garden again today. We're actually at our herb section, our blue potted, what would you call it, Chris? Anyways,
blue barrel gardening.
Blue barrel gardening, that's what we're going to call it. We've been using it for our herbs pretty much now. This is the end of the second year now of doing it. And as you can see, everything is bushy and doing amazing. Even though we've had dry conditions, we really love the blue pot gardening. But today specifically, we're going to focus on the stevia. I am going to be cutting a whole bunch off here to dehydrate. We use it in teas and for sweetener throughout the winter time. And you can use it to make a syrup. I've not tried that. Something I would like to try, so maybe that'll be what we use some of this for. But first I was going to show you kind of a little trick we've been using throughout the summer here to keep our plants nice and bushy. Now this basically was, I want to say, probably about $6 worth of plants. Each pot has 3 plants in it, and over the course of the summer I've just been harvesting in a, we'll get Chris to zoom in here. I'm going to we'll pick on this guy right here. Basically what I've been doing every time I go to harvest is taking it back and cutting it at a little fork there, which then forces the 2 branches to come out, and I just take that into the house and dehydrate, and it keeps going. You can see here we've got quite the bushy sections coming, even though we're getting into late August now. I have left some here that I'm hoping will go to seed before it gets too late. I think that could be wishful thinking. We've not tried that before. And I've got some here that we're going to take for propagating. Again, that's something we did try last year without too much success, propagating in the fall to keep it going in the house throughout the winter. So fingers crossed we'll be reporting later with a video that says how wonderful and great it worked. But anyways, that's the basic process here. Same thing with the harvesting for a slip to propagate. You just want to pick one of these guys at the back. Well, you don't have to have it at the back, obviously. But one of these guys here, again, I just take it down to where it's going to fork. Okay. We're just going to take off the lower leaves. When you take that into the house, again, they go into my basket to be dehydrated. And you're left with the nice stalk there that's going to be just planted in soil. We can demonstrate that when we go inside to dry our herbs. But for right now, I've brought out a handy dandy jar of water, which we're just going to keep them in that so that they don't get too wilted out here while we collect a few. I'm thinking probably, what, 10 to try to start?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah, so I'm going to quickly pick 10 of those, and I'm going to pick my basket of herbs, and we're going to go inside and start our dehydrating. So, as you can see, we've come inside, brought our stevia in. I have taken it all off of the stalks and washed and rinsed, and basically spun it out in my little salad spinner thingy till it's as dry as I can get it. I'm not too particular. As you can see, some of them have quite big leaves and stalk, but when I crush that all up at the end after it's dried, I just take out the more woodier pieces and discard them while we feed them to the worms. But anyways, that's another video. So we're just going to layer it onto our trays, like so. I try and keep them touching as little as possible. Try not to overlap too much, just so that it doesn't take quite so long to dry out. So there's tray 1. My handy dandy dehydrator has 5 trays, so I just kind of fill up to what I can. Anything that doesn't fit, I just put in a Ziploc baggie in the fridge for the next round. Yeah, that's basically the process. So as you can see here, we've got our 5 trays all stacked up. Stevia's washed and on there. A little bit of overlap. It's not going to hurt anything. And as you can see, we've got some there that still have their stalks in. But when I crush those up after they've dehydrated, I can just take out any bits and pieces that I don't really care to have in my stuff. So there we are, we're ready. Lid's going to go on. And onto the dehydrator it goes. There was a few crumbs in there for my last one, but luckily for us it was Stevia, which I will show you in 1 second here. So I've got her set on the, whoops, I had set on one. So I've got her set on the 120 turned on, and that's going to go for approximately 12 hours. We'll see. I do check it every couple hours just to see, and sometimes rotate the trays. I do find sometimes the bottom ones seem to dry out quicker, so I tend to rotate every couple hours. As mentioned previously in the video, I conveniently had Stevia already in the dehydrator, so I had that ready to go. And this is what we ended up with here. We're in our bowl, handy dandy stainless steel again. And you can see dried out, still big. Even the stalks, you know, they did dehydrate out. But if we just crush, I try not to crush too much because I find if I get it too fine, it does go through my little T-ball. And that's mostly what we use it for. And then, like I say, you can make syrups and things like that. We also in the summer use fresh Stevia to make sweet teas. So, as you can see, we've broken up our Stevia. Still the stalks are there. We don't like ours too fine ground because mostly we use it for teas and the tea balls and stuff, and you want to be able to strain it out. Yeah, you can take a colander type thing and just shake it through, and the bigger pieces won't come through. Really, that's completely up to you. We're looking forward to figuring out many different ways to use our Stevia. As I said, right now we're mostly teas, that sort of thing, but I do want to experiment with the syrups and stuff like that to, again, preserve it somewhat for winter use. We are going to try a second time to have it growing in the house. I'm hoping either we get some seed or I'm going to try the slips.
So the last thing is to do our Stevia cuttings. So we've already kind of gone ahead and done a bunch of them just to sort of speed things up a little bit. We just use a potting soil. You can use sand, you can use pretty much whatever you want to root them in. But basically all we do is you're peeling back, I take quite a bit off here, but this was kind of a larger one. You're peeling back to a bit of growth just at the top. You'll see we're actually saving all the leaves that we've taken off because we're going to try making the Stevia syrup. And we'll see how that goes. Basically, on this one I'm going to leave it there. You could probably go further if you wanted. Taking a pair of scissors and cutting above a leaf node, so where a pair of leaves were. So I'm going to cut here. And basically all I'm going to do is gently push it down into the potting soil. I'm going to try this one. This is probably not ideal, we'll see, but this is just a piece I've broken off, so I'm going to do basically the exact same thing. Again, just pushing it down in. So we're going to water that with our water from our worm bins, keep it moist, and put them in under our little grow light setup that we've got in the house, just to give them some time to establish. So basically that's it. We'll come back to this maybe in a few weeks and see how these little plants are doing, and hopefully they've established well. Anyways, on that note, we'll go on to the next thing.